Hello, my name is Mason Andrews, and this is my public speaking assignment over my service learning opportunity. I did my service learning assignment for an organization called Keep Austin Beautiful in Austin, Texas. This is where several other volunteers and I treated the environment in downtown Austin after South by Southwest, Mabel Davis Park, and Loyola Lane. This organization serves the community environment of Austin, Texas. The mission of Keep Austin Beautiful is we provide resource and education to engage citizens in building more beautiful communities. Many of the volunteers who attended consisted of those doing community service, corporate work gathering to clean the environment, or those who are out cleaning their environment regularly. At Loyola Lane, there was many parents with their children as they educated on taking care of the environment, and there was also a fraternity that showed up at the site to help. So each time I attended, we started out picking up litter from the woods, creeks, roadsides, and abandoned campsites, and even on the streets. Then afterward, we would create these little mud balls with soil, nutrients, and seeds of native Texan plants and threw them out in our area in order to keep Austin beautiful. Table of contents. First, we'll go over the occupational demands, then the OT core values, then leadership principles, therapeutic use of self, teaching principles, and occupational justice. The picture to the right is one of the bags that I filled up from the woods. Occupational demands. The objects at the site include gloves, orange safety vests for children or those who just chose to wear them, reachers, a white trash bag for recycling, a black bag for trash, little plastic containers that is pictured below for paraphernalia or glass, and hand sanitizer. As far as the space demands are concerned, volunteers were required to remain within the parameters assigned by the organization. The social demands required of the site are to become ready to treat the environment with a smile, always be friendly, and be respectful to your peers and the homeless that you come across. OT core values and social justice go a bit hand in hand. The core values that can be integrated with my service learning the most significantly is stewardship, as it is incumbent upon us to protect the value of all people and all resources on our planet. As humans, we should be stewards to our planet because it is our home, and we should protect the environment and ecosystems that are naturally in place, instead of constantly trashing it. We only have one Earth, and we are quickly destroying our ecosystems with littering. The other core value that fits my service learning is the promotion of peace. We as a collective are called to promote peace at all levels, including to our habitats and the insects and animals inhabiting them. Every time we miss the trash can, something flies out of our car, or we walk past a piece of trash, just know that it will affect our environment or an animal in some form or fashion. As you see below, there was tons of litter on the side of the road that ended up on the property where livestock is. This livestock you can tell that this bull's a little bit malnourished, and it's going to eat anything that goes over that fence. So I took a picture of some of the trash that was tangled up in the grass, and a calf or that bull could easily be eating plastic every day. According to the Service Learning Social Justice and Occupational Therapy PowerPoint from Module 1, social justice relates to the fair, equitable, and appropriate treatment of persons. This should include our ecosystems. It just isn't right that we can be so careless to throw our trash out the window, have a waste management system that creates enormous landfills of trash that get abandoned or dirt thrown over them, or the fact that we even have an island of trash in the middle of the ocean that is destroying the marine life. This service learning really opened my eyes to the neglect that humans have as a collective over taking care of the environment. It is pivotal that we change our actions to prevent further destroying our planet. My group consisted of an older middle-aged man, a mid-30s male, a young adult, and me. In the moment, I didn't recognize what I was doing, but when I reflect on my second day volunteering, I realized I went through the 3 different leadership styles with my group at the Mabel Davis Park location. Initially, we started in the field pictured to the left, and we weren't finding much to clean. We found a couple of things, but when the picture was taken, we were done. So the group was a little less engaged because we were kind of just moping around walking. So I took the lead and began leading my group to the woods, straying away from them, and I was yelling, "Hey, there's a ton of trash over here." And I'd start waving them over. The older man in my group was not that into it. He complained the most, thinking that we were walking off the property, but we were still on the property. I was even checking with the activity coordinator, making sure it was okay and everything, and he said absolutely. So I drug him over there. Anyway, I kept encouraging him, and the amount of trash we found from campers, previous trash picked up from floods and creeks, and just random trash was remarkable. At this point, we went from directive leadership to advisory leadership. And it went from 4 of us filling 1 bag of trash all together to each of us needing our own bags. When other groups saw us coming in and out of the woods with trash bags, that brought more groups in. Once more groups started running into the woods and everything to get more trash, we had a good system going. And the experience from the first 30 minutes to the last hour and a half was a lot different, and it was a lot more enjoyable. Therapeutic use of self. I used the therapeutic use of self concept through being a group member with my group. At the downtown destination and at the Mabel Davis Park location, I was part of groups of 3 and 4 in which I established rapport with the volunteers, built a group relationship, and then we were able to maintain a working relationship through achieving our goal of cleaning the location we were at. My therapeutic role is as a group member / leader in the Mabel Davis Park location. As I said before, I kind of had to get my group more engaged in the activity for us to increase our efficiency. But using therapeutic use of self, I established rapport, established a work relationship, and this gave them an idea of who I was, so this probably influenced their willingness to follow me into harder terrain to find more trash. In that situation, I acted as more of a leader. But in my situation downtown where we cleaned up the mess from South by Southwest, it was my first day, so I was more of a group member, and I took kind of a back seat to the other people. However, we all fed off of each other, and all led by example. But there was a lot more to clean up in the streets than there was in the woods. We had to actually go exploring for trash when we were in the woods, but whenever we were in the city, all of it was right in front of you, so it required a lot less leadership. One example of teaching principles I was able to accomplish was when one of the group members threw out their lower back. What had happened was he bent down with a rounded back to pick up some trash, then had a sharp pain in his lower back. I later found out he worked at a nearby brewery, so I assume he had a bit of a wear and tear injury lifting kegs with his lower back. Luckily, I had grabbed a reacher, thinking the old man would need it, but that wasn't the case. Anyways, I still had the reacher, so I used the problem-solving teaching method from Module 6, in which I analyzed the situation. The member threw out his back. I recognized the issue, he had back pain, and found a solution, the reacher, so that way he could continue the activity. He never mentioned quitting when it happened, but since I was nearby, I walked over and grabbed what he was reaching for with the reacher, just so I could provide an example of how it worked. I knew it wouldn't take much for him to understand how the reacher worked, but he quickly grabbed it and said, "I'm so glad you brought that." We then continued on about the activity, and I checked on him periodically to make sure he was okay. Below is a pile of the reachers that we used, and then to the right is the man I handed the reacher to. As you can see, he's holding it, and he was also stepping in dog poop for the photo. Occupational justice. Occupational justice is the right of every individual to be able to meet basic needs and to have equal opportunities and life chances to reach toward her or his potential, but specific to the individual's engagement in diverse and meaningful occupation. This organization supports all human rights. Anybody from any walk of life can volunteer and help take care of the environment, and there are no barriers to join this organization. Another way this organization practices occupational justice is through how the organization treats the homeless population. The site organizer urged us to not bother the homeless campers. They informed us that we could clean up around the area, but do not disturb them, because in Austin it is their right to camp in the woods if they please. And these aspects keep Austin beautiful as an occupational justice organization. Overall, this service learning assignment has been really life-changing. I've always been someone who is cognitive of taking care of the environment, and I'm constantly watching myself from littering. I'm currently a beekeeper, and my family is all farmers and raise cattle, so I was always raised to respect the environment. I gained a lot from this experience. I found myself gaining confidence in leadership skills and understanding that you can lead with motivation, as I did when I got my group to look for litter in the woods. I have increased empathy for the environment, and I'd like to continue doing this volunteering when I have the chance. I'm confident I made a positive contribution to the vision and statement of the organization. Each day that I did my service learning, I found myself getting more and more passionate about picking up the environment. Some of the things I picked up were more than 20 years old, and when I realized what a small number of people volunteer regularly, it gave me a thought that I should be doing the same thing. It only takes a couple hours to make a difference in our communities, and you get a really good feeling afterward, knowing that you took care of the area, even if it gets littered again. I knew what I was doing was right.